Hi guys, welcome back to our Netherlands channel. I am Shtukensia from Russia, from Moscow, and this video will be about relationship between Russians and the Netherlands in case of love and dating and having family together. And I would like to say some points about these relationships, and let's try to evaluate if Russian and Dutch person can match together and which problems they might have in case of relationships, typical problems. So first of all, I would like to say that in general Russian person are very, in general, of course there might be a lot of exceptions, but in general Russian person very family oriented, and Russian women usually do not work and they pretend that husband will be the person who earn money and the woman will be the person who will take household. It's very typical, and most of Russian women, they still work because they have to work, but they tend to choose work which is not very difficult and doesn't give much money, but they stay happy having this work. And as far as I know, in the Netherlands, Dutch women, they work hard and earn high salary in average, and maybe Dutch men would anticipate that Russian girl would have such job. So this might be the first problem in case of relationship. If we would take vice versa, it might be the same, because Russian men, they anticipate that a woman would be more like cooking and householding and taking care of children, and Dutch women, they are more independent and like feminists, maybe like this, and there also might be some challenges. What else about relationship might be challenging? I would say it's a relationship with big family and relatives. In Russia, it's a very big tradition that person have very close relationship to the family and to a lot of people from the family. In Dutch families, I wouldn't say it's work like this. So of course, parents can be in relationships with children and grandparents, but you do not find these big families like cousins, stepbrother, stepbrother, his wife, his children, and this a lot of persons who are in a relationship with the family. So I would say, when you start dating with person from Russia, you start dating with his whole family in general. You have to be in good relationship and give presents and be nice to everybody and like have these big dinners. There are a lot of exceptions, of course. For instance, in my case, we do not have such relationships in general, but it's very typical to Russia, and you might find this challenging. Next, the big challenge is that a person from Russia will tend to have Russian education to the children. And I met a lot of Russian women who married Dutch men, and then they would find some challenges between cultures. So Russian women or Russian men try to educate their children Russian way, Russian literature, Russian language, Russian culture, music, films, etc., and cartoons. And of course, if you live in the Netherlands, the children have to be Dutch also, because they have to learn Dutch language and watch movies and culture and all this stuff. And this might be very challenging because Russian culture is really strong, and comparing to not most, but some cultures from the world, Russian culture is very huge, strong, and have very big influence on people. So even if Russian person emigrate anywhere, it stays with a very, very huge baggage with this typical Russian culture. And this culture forced to be in the children very, very strongly. It's not like, okay, you can just learn a little bit of Russian and a little bit of this Tolstoy, Dostoevsky and Chekhov. Not at all. Russian person, they try to force Russian culture really strongly because we love all things Russian, and we really admire a lot of our films, books, stuff from Russia. Russian language is really important to Russians. And of course, when I heard that Russian person dating Dutch person, it really often when Russian person try to force Dutch person learn Russian as well, because it's like, well, it's very difficult to explain, but it is very, very important to Russian person have some sense of his or her culture around her in a very strong way. This might be challenging. Next, which also might be challenging in case of having relationships, it's traditions and anticipation of person. I have never dated a Dutch man, but what I saw in the Netherlands, Dutch men are not really romantic. They are more pragmatic, I would say, and they can. They're not very spontaneous and do not make crazy, beautiful stuff. Maybe it's my wrong, maybe I'm wrong, but what I saw among the person who dating, they're very their relationship very pragmatic, very caring. They care about each other a lot, but the sense of the relationship, it's not like from the era of prince and princess, and like woman is a princess and man like a prince, and the prince kill big monster to rescue the princess, like this. So there is not such feeling, in the Dutch relationships. You feel like here is mature woman met mature man, and they have a mature relationships. They smart, they think about this relationship, they have some issues, they can go to the restaurant, they can bring flowers, they can do something, but it's not like a magic, it's not. So relationship, it's not like a magic and a fairy tale and something like this. In Russia, people like having these fairy tales, and it's very sometimes maybe stupid and strange, but the relationships of Russians in general, they seem like copying the fairy tale and like, wow, this magic. Yes, at the end, they may have a divorce, of course, and we in Russia, we have a lot of divorces. After 5 years of dating, 7, a lot of divorces. But this type of relationships, they full of romance, of something beautiful, crazy, a lot of emotions involved in this relationships. So this might be challenging, because when I met Dutch men and guys, they were more like smart, intelligent, family oriented, having job and career, and prioritize everything and have a schedule, like that. It's not like, oh, I will bring you the star from the okay, I hope you understand. I think that's it in general, because the rest, I think, is not much different. Dutch men and women are in general very beautiful person, smart, and have goodwill to do something, and very honest, straightforward, and this is really good for relationship, as far as I know. Russian person more or less romantic, have a lot of fantasies in their head, spontaneous and chaotic, and more have very strong feelings and strong expression of these feelings, even bad or good feelings, and also very straight person in general. So guys, I hope you like this video, and please let me know, have you met any these challenges, and let's discuss advantages and disadvantages of relationship between Russian person and Dutch person. Thank you very much for attention, and I hope to see you in my next video. Please subscribe to our Netherlands channel. Doei!